In addition to being an author and a poet, I am a journalist. And journalism is challenging these days. Legitimate journalists can't appear to be in any way taking sides. There's a big difference between propaganda and press. And for press, there's a responsibility to avoid appearing biased even when it feels wrong, because it's unavoidable. I've recently found myself sharing some long, detailed posts, and then I've been modifying those to make longer form journalistic articles that I've been sharing at www.meltdownmessiah.com, because I had a friend who suggested that they'd subscribe to it if I had a blog. I do indeed have a website available where I can post these things. I'd been primarily focusing up to that point on using that space for reviews of books and audiobooks that I'd completed, but I haven't been doing that lately, so I pay for the privilege of having the space, I may as well use it. And another friend suggested that I should start making videos of these things, and so I'm going to give that a try as well. So here we go. I've been pretty clear in the past about the fact that I'm not comfortable being on this side of the camera. For me, it's always felt, I don't know, self-indulgent, narcissistic, and I always asked myself, who wants to see and hear you? However, I've received a lot of positive reactions from people to readings that I've provided online, as far as poetry and snippets from larger works. Unfortunately, the current political climate in the United States has forced me to address far more political misinformation than I rather naively expected. I should have known better. I made it through not only the first Trump administration, but also the year leading up to that, and the interval of relative sanity that followed. The difference is now that I'm working as a journalist, I don't have the luxury of stepping away from the constant barrage of false claims, bad faith arguments, cherry-picked data, or data that's being tossed around without either context or nuance. Now, on the positive side, I happen to enjoy doing research, and I'm good at it. I don't expect you to take any of the things I say at face value. You have no particular reason to trust me over any other entity that's sharing their political opinions online, and I don't expect you to place that kind of faith in me. I do want you to question what I say, especially if it doesn't make sense to you. But I will make an assurance to you that I will not be posting something unless I've done my due diligence. I've dedicated time and energy to researching whatever the topic might be, using sources that are nonpartisan and unbiased. Now, that's not to say that I'm impartial, because, like everyone, I most certainly have my own set of biases in place. In my career, I have to exercise a great deal of caution to keep any of my opinions from influencing the news I'm assembling for the gradually diminishing audience for local television newscasts, but I do lean heavily on facts over feelings, even when they're my own. If the facts and data don't support something, it won't be in my newscast unless I'm also supplying the facts and data that counter whatever that happens to be. You are always encouraged to research these things yourself. The resources are all readily available. I'll even happily provide links if they're requested. I know not everyone has the time available to do so, and most people don't enjoy research or collating data as much as I do. I may misspeak, I may have an error in my math, though I typically double and triple check all the numbers. I apologize for any of the errors that may slip through. As I said, I don't expect you to trust me implicitly. What I do expect is that you know I care a great deal about being right, even when it doesn't make me particularly nice. I don't like being wrong, so I prefer to keep my mouth shut unless I know I'm not. I'll gladly admit when I'm wrong about something, but I go to great lengths to verify my sources and check my work before I share anything. Not only do I enjoy it, but I'm good at researching things, which is why I'm good at my job and at least somewhat okay at my far less lucrative career as a writer. Sure, I'll tell you that your opinion's wrong, but that's just me being an asshole. We all know that. Of course, some opinions are informed by bad or false data, and I'll try to address that. But opinions are subjective, whereas facts are not. 5 of a thing is always more than 2 of the same thing. The sky appears mostly blue because molecules in the atmosphere scatter the light from our star in such a way, based on the wavelengths, that it looks that way. The Earth is not flat. We have been to the moon, and astronauts left things behind on the surface even during the earliest missions, and so on. Some things are simply not a matter of opinion, and about which there are not equally valid arguments in opposition. One thing I do ask, beyond your belief that I care too much about being right to waste my time on long, rambling posts without knowing who I am, is that you do not use Google's AI or ChatGPT as a resource. I can't tell you how many times I've happened to glance at what Google AI has provided as a response to search inquiries, and felt like it either did not have the slightest capacity to recognize what was being searched for, or that it hallucinated a response that fell pretty far out of line with any legitimate sources. That being said, I will acknowledge that it was closer to accurate more often than it wasn't, but this is neither horseshoes nor hand grenades, so close doesn't count.